What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C4 here, and today on Top 10 Tuesday, we're going to be taking a quick look at the Top 10 2017 draft prospects. Now, this is going to be kind of different from the video I did July, which was me going over the best players in college football, because there's a big difference between a good player in college football and one that will translate well to the NFL game and be regarded as a draft prospect. So hopefully I can get pretty close to what the official top 10 will look like come the 2017 draft. With at number 10, we're going with DeShaun Watson, the quarterback from Clemson, 6'2", 205 pounds. For me, he is the highest ceiling in this class, and if he can adjust quickly to the NFL, similar to what you saw with Marcus Mariota in Tennessee, he'll be a stud. He definitely needs to bulk up. He is a mobile quarterback. Sometimes he wants to run first, so hopefully we see a little bit of change in his style of play. But at 205 pounds, man, that's even smaller than RG3, and people were saying RG3 at like 220 should try to bulk up a little bit. That's about where I think DeShaun Watson needs to get. I think he needs, in this senior year, needs to add about 10 to 15 pounds before the draft and before the combine if he tends to show up to that. But he definitely needs to bulk up. But like I said, he could find some success. And if I had to make a pro comparison for him, it's obviously going to be Marcus Mariota. Big fan of DeShaun Watson, by the way. He's an absolute stud. Going number 9, it's going to be Jonathan Allen, the defensive lineman from Alabama, 6'3", 300 pounds. He would have been a first-round prospect if he declared last season. A lot of people actually thought he was going to declare, but he decided to opt back and go back to Alabama. If he declared, he would have probably been late first, though. It wasn't like he was like, oh my God, top 10 stud. He's a versatile player, can play anywhere on the defensive line in a 4-3. For me, he reminds me of Geno Atkins of the Cincinnati Bengals. I think he's an absolute utility on the defensive line, and that flexibility is what's going to make him jump off the board for some teams that are hurting in a 4-3. Go number 8 is going to be Jabrill Peppers, the defensive back for the University of Michigan, 6'1", 210 pounds, very similar skill set to Jalen Ramsey. Less so in coverage, but I believe he's a better tackler. Michigan last season has used him a bit at linebacker as well. He's in that linebacker safety mold that you're seeing is increasingly popular in the NFL, like a Deion Buchanan and Mark Barron. I'm not sure who else would have. Ray Armstrong, there's a shout. I think he plays... like I said, comparison, I think it's Jalen Ramsey, but also if teams, that's all about how teams are going to analyze him. They're going to see him like Shaq Thompson, like how the Carolina Panthers did, and see a guy that was a big-ass safety. We're going to make him to an undersized linebacker because that's best scheme fit. So you could compare him more to a Deion Buchanan, but for me, I think he'll test very, very similar to what Jalen Ramsey did this offseason and be a top 10 pick, in my opinion. Go number 7 is going to be Cam Robinson, the offensive tackle for Alabama, 6'5", 330 pounds. He has off-field concerns, but he's the best offensive tackle in this class by a lot. Best pass and run blocker. I think he is the top graded offensive lineman in the run, in the pass, I believe. Whoever does that, I think it was Pro Football Focus or something. For me, he's similar to Larry Tunsil, except it's a weaker class at tackle, so I think a team... Unlike Larry Tunsil, where he slipped because everyone don't really want to touch him, I think in this year's class, if you need a tackle, you're going to have to get Cam Robinson because there's no one else. I think he is the top tackle. He's the top tackle for sure in the top 20 picks. I think, especially with the Philadelphia Eagles. My Eagles need a tackle. Jason Peters is not getting any younger. And I was looking at it, and it's looking all right for the second round. Unless a lot of teams start to reach in the back end of the first to get those tackles. There should be some nice tackles there in the second round for Philadelphia to go get. But Cam Robinson is the cream of the crop, and I'm going to guess teams are going to overlook his off-field issues and still draft him very high. Go number 6 is going to be Carl Lawson, the defensive end for Auburn, 6'2", 255 pounds. He's incredibly explosive after an ACL tear. He could end up being like Khalil Mack, but... that was actually my comparison. Because Carl Lawson and a guy we're going to talk about later, his name is Myles Garrett from Texas A&M. This here is reminding me of Khalil Mack and Jadeveon Clowney. Jadeveon Clowney had all the hype. Khalil Mack had some hype. No one was sleeping on him, really. But they thought Clowney was debatably the number 1 guy, and Mack was the number 2 guy. And I'm starting to get a little bit of a vibe here between Carl Lawson and Myles Garrett. I think Carl Lawson could end up being the Khalil Mack of that situation, and Myles Garrett ended up being a Jadeveon Clowney. But for me, the closest comparison for Carl Lawson is Vic Beasley of the Atlanta Falcons. I know Vic Beasley didn't have an amazing rookie year, but you could see, even though the sack numbers weren't there, he was incredibly explosive. He was beating his blocks, and it's just going to take just that one split second for him to finally get things and put them together, and he's going to be a nice little stud off the edge. And I see very similar statistics and size and tendencies in Carl Lawson. Go number 5 is going to be Jalen Tabor, the cornerback for the University of Florida. 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. I personally think he's as talented as Vernon Hargreaves, and he's an absolute stud, man. He's the best cover corner in the draft, and I think a strong 40 time will help him. If I have to compare him to someone, I'm saying he has shades of Joe Hayden, another former University of Florida cornerback and absolute stud for the Cleveland Browns, has been a multi-time Pro Bowler. Dude's got paid. I think Tabor is very close to that, but I mean, this Florida is just churning out defensive backs. Move over LSU. DBU University is going to be University of Florida, I'm going to have to say, in my biased opinion. But Tabor is an absolute beast. Goal number 4, Juju Smith-Schuster, wide receiver for USC, 6'2", 220 pounds. I gave him the slight edge as the top wide receiver in this year's class over Mike Williams of Clemson. I think Juju, we're going with Juju, has great size and power. Reminds me of Dez Bryant. I think he's going to need a strong 40 time, though, to get this top 10 grade. No one really knows if he's just, is he quick or is he fast? And I think a guy with that kind of power, man, you just go look at YouTube. He has some of the sickest stiff arms I've ever seen from a wide receiver. Reminds me kind of, like a Dez Bryant or an Andre Johnson. But if he can get like something in the 4.4s, 4.5, low 4.5s in the 4.4s, I think he's going to be a top 10 pick all day long. Teams are going to fall in love with that size, speed. I don't think he's had any off-field issues either. So, I mean, character, that is clean. That is squeaky clean. So that's why I have, at the moment, this could change by the time as we get closer to the draft and as the college football season rounds down. But as in right now, Juju Smith-Schuster at number 4. Goal number 3 is going to be Myles Garrett, the defensive end for Texas A&M, 6'5", 260 pounds. This guy is being compared as a Jadeveon Clowney clone, which is good and bad. He's better instincts than Jadeveon Clowney, which is, kind of what has let him down a little bit in the NFL. Let's not come out and say Clowney's been a bust. He's been hurt, and when he was on the field, he was a playmaker. Maybe not as hasn't lived up to the expectations everyone put on him, but he hasn't been a bad player at all. He may fall in the middle between a Clowney and a Mack when all is said and done, but I think some team's going to fall in love with Myles Garrett. He's a top 5 pick for sure, consensus, unless he gets hurt. He's a freak. I've seen some highlights of him, man. He's been doing it since freshman. I think he broke Clowney's freshman sack record. I think he had 12, I believe, somewhere in the low double digits. So that's incredibly impressive, and even more adds to the comparison between him and Clowney. So that's why we have him here at number 3. Go number 2 is Christian McCaffrey, the running back from Stanford. For me, everyone's going to shit on him and say, oh, he's just another. If you think he is not going to be an NFL running back, you're probably a closet racist because he's white. He's a third down back, great hands, speed, vision, special teams threat. If he bulks up, he'll be a top 20 pick. He's an even better version of Reggie Bush for me. Like I said, if he was black, everyone would be like, wow, man, this guy Reggie Bush, CJ Spiller, next quick, elusive running back. But then they're like, no, he's white. And I'm not even trying to come off like a bitter old white motherfucker. I'm just saying. Right now, you hear the pundits are like, he may just be a special teamer in the NFL, or he may have to move to slot wide receiver. No, fuck that. This guy here is an explosive weapon at the running back position, and I think he's going to be an absolute stud. I hope fucking teams sleep on him, because Philly might be looking for a running back next year, and if he's in the second round, they're going to jump all over this shit. McCaffrey is an excellent player, can do it all. He literally can do it all. You can even truck over motherfucker. Like I said, if he can add maybe 5-10 pounds and keep his speed up where it needs to be, top 20 pick, and if you sleep on him, that's your own fucking problem. And number 1, sticking with the running back position, we're going with Leonard Fournette, the running back from LSU, 6'1", 230 pounds. Comparison, Adrian Peterson 2.0. It's speed meets lethal power. I think he's definitely better than Ezekiel Elliott, and he might be better than Todd Gurley. I'm not sure. I think I have him Gurley edged slightly as to how I feel about them coming into the draft. I thought Gurley was for sure the next AP. Fournette, very similar traits. But yeah, that's for you. I think that's almost down to personal opinion. If you think he's better than Todd Gurley, or a better prospect than Todd Gurley coming out of college. But Fournette's going to be a stud. First round pick all day long. Best running back of this year's draft class. In a very, very stacked running back draft class, if I could say so myself. But we have Fournette number 1. It's easy to say that. He's been NFL ready since he was a freshman. But there you have it, guys. Those are top 10 2017 draft prospects. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree or disagree. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I love subscribers. I love you guys. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. And until next thing, it's your boy C4 saying peace out.